Everyone knows about the 7 wonders of the world that were built over centuries ago. But where did this list come from? Around 2,000 years ago, Greek scholars like Antipater of Sidon and Philo of Byzantium began writing about the most incredible structures they had seen during their journeys around the world. They described temples, statues, and towers that seemed almost impossible to build at the time. They created many versions of the list, just like different travel itineraries in today's world. But much later, during the Renaissance in the 1500s, European scholars rediscovered these ancient Greek texts. They studied the old descriptions and created the final version of a list of 7, the ancient wonders of the world. Out of the 7 ancient wonders, only one still exists today. The rest 6 have been lost to earthquakes, fire, war, and time itself, and been replaced by many modern wonders like Taj Mahal. In this video, we'll explore each one of the ancient wonders, who built them, why they mattered, and how they were eventually destroyed. To reach our first destination, we need to travel 4,500 years back in time to the capital of Egypt, Cairo. Standing on the edge of the Sahara Desert, just outside Cairo in Egypt, are 3 colossal monuments that have defied time and nature: the Pyramids of Giza. Built over 4,500 years ago, they are the only ancient wonders still standing today. And perhaps that will stand till eternity. Each pyramid was built for a pharaoh. The Pyramid of Khufu, the largest and oldest pyramid built for the pharaoh Khufu. The Pyramid of Khafre, slightly smaller but with a grander illusion thanks to clever positioning, was built for the son of Khufu, Khafre. And the Pyramid of Menkaure, the smallest one, yet no less precise, was built for the son of Khafre, Pharaoh Menkaure. The Great Pyramid of Khufu originally stood at 146.6 meters, taller than most skyscrapers until the 16th century. It was built from over 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing as much as 80 tons. Inside is a complex network of chambers and passageways which still puzzles archaeologists. There are no detailed records of how it was built, but just theories from massive ramps to lost technologies. The Pyramid of Khafre once had a gleaming limestone casing and a golden capstone, which is now lost to time, erosion, and looters. These pyramids have inspired everything from alien conspiracy theories to Hollywood blockbusters. In Transformers, the pyramid hides an ancient alien weapon. And honestly, when you stand in front of it, it doesn't seem that far-fetched.
Dark forever.
Every known Greek list of the 7 wonders included the Great Pyramid. The pyramid was already over 2,000 years old when Cleopatra was queen of Egypt. To her, it was a relic from a forgotten past, just like it is to us today. Now let's get in our time machine and time travel to 2,000 years in the future and reach the site for our next marvel, the city of Babylon. Babylon around 600 BCE, a city located in the heart of a desert in modern-day Iraq. Once so powerful, its name became a symbol of luxury, pride, and excess. This is where the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were said to exist, a massive tiered structure covered in lush greenery, with exotic trees and flowering vines spilling over stone terraces. According to ancient writers, the gardens were built by King Nebuchadnezzar II around 600 BCE to comfort his queen, Amytis of Media, who missed the green hills of her homeland. The gardens had a man-made mountain, filled with irrigated plants, raised high above the desert floor. Some claimed water was drawn from the Euphrates River using an Archimedes screw, but we've never found them. No physical ruins, no Babylonian records, not even a mention in their own inscriptions. All accounts come from Greek historians, writing centuries after the gardens were supposedly built. This is the only wonder in the list that perhaps did not even exist. Some modern scholars believe the Greeks confused Babylon with another city, Nineveh, hundreds of kilometers away. Ancient Assyrian texts describe a massive garden complex built by King Sennacherib, complete with aqueducts, raised terraces, and lush greenery, much closer to the Greek descriptions. So we may never know for sure, but even if they never existed, the idea that humans in the desert could build a paradise in the sky was wondrous enough to earn its place on every ancient list. By the 1st century BCE, much of the city of Babylon, along with the gardens, had already fallen into ruin by repeated invasions and earthquakes. And if the gardens were actually in Nineveh, They may have been lost even earlier, when the Assyrian capital was violently destroyed in 612 BCE. For our next destination, we need to cross the desert and reach Ephesus in Greece. In what is now Western Turkey, once stood a marvel unlike any other, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. In 323 BCE, this region was part of Ionia, a coastal territory of ancient Greece, a melting pot of Hellenic art, philosophy, and trade. Dedicated to Artemis, the Greek goddess of the hunt, nature, and childbirth, this was no ordinary place of worship. It was a sprawling marble sanctuary, twice the size of the Parthenon, 137 meters long, 69 meters wide, and 18 meters high, supported by over 100 ornately carved Ionic columns. The temple we remember as a wonder was actually the third version. The first two temples had both been destroyed, but it was the second one that met a fiery fate, set ablaze in 356 BCE by a man seeking eternal fame. He set the temple on flames so that the world would remember him, and the punishment for his crimes was that ancient Greeks decided to never mention his name in history, but the name did get out eventually. Out of respect for ancient custom, we won't speak his name. On that very same night as flames consumed one of the grandest temples ever built, a boy was born far to the north, in Macedonia, Alexander the Great. Years later, when Alexander visited Ephesus, he offered to fund the reconstruction of the temple, but the locals politely declined. They believed it was unworthy for a god to build a house for another god. Still, the temple was eventually rebuilt by the people of Ephesus, even grander than before, around 323 to 300 BCE. It became a place not just of worship, but of commerce and culture, filled with art, sculpture, and travelers from all across the ancient world. In the late 4th century CE, the temple was finally destroyed by a Christian mob, as paganism fell out of favor across the Roman Empire. The ruins were forgotten, buried beneath centuries of soil and silence, until British archaeologist John Turtlewood rediscovered them in 1869, after years of tireless searching. Today, only a single lonely column stands a ghost of what once was the most celebrated temple in the Greek world. But through ruins and memory, the legacy of Artemis's temple still towers above history, and even Wonder Woman worships Artemis. Our next stop is Olympia, in the western Peloponnese. In a quiet valley surrounded by rivers and olive trees, stood the ancient city of Olympia, a sacred place in Greek religion and culture. Around 457 BCE, the people of Elis built a massive temple here to honor Zeus, the king of the gods. The Temple of Zeus was one of the largest in Greece. It rose about 70 feet high and stretched over 230 feet in length, surrounded by rows of massive Doric columns. At its center was something even more remarkable, the statue of Zeus, created by the master sculptor Phidias. Made of ivory and gold, seated on an elaborate throne, the statue was nearly 40 feet tall. To many who saw it, it felt like Zeus himself was present. Olympia was more than a religious site. It was also the birthplace of the Olympic Games, first held in 776 BCE. These games were a major part of Greek identity. Athletes from all over the Greek world, from city-states like Athens, Sparta, and Thebes, would gather to compete in running, wrestling, chariot racing, and more. Wars were even paused during the Games under a sacred peace called the Olympic Truce. Victors were celebrated like heroes, but the true purpose of the Games was to honor Zeus, whose statue watched over the events from the nearby temple. For centuries, Olympia remained a center of Greek religion. But in the 4th and 5th centuries CE, as the Roman Empire adopted Christianity, pagan temples and rituals were gradually banned. Soon after, the statue of Zeus was moved to Constantinople, where it was likely destroyed in a fire. The temple itself was damaged by earthquakes and eventually abandoned. Today, only the foundation stones remain in Olympia, but the story of the temple continues, not just in ruins, but in every Olympic Games held today. We land in Halicarnassus, an ancient Greek city which is now located on the west coast of Turkey. It was the only monarchy when all Greek cities were under some form of democracy. In the 4th century BCE, a Persian satrap Mausoleum, who ruled over it under the Achaemenid Empire. After his death around 353 BCE, his wife and sister, Artemis II, commissioned a tomb that would make him immortal in memory. The Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. She brought together the greatest sculptors and architects of the time, Satyros, Pythias, artists whose works defined Greek classical art. The mausoleum stood over 40 meters tall, about the height of a 14-story building, and combined multiple architectural styles: Greek columns, Egyptian stepped structure, and a pyramid-shaped roof. At the very top stood a grand sculpture of a chariot driven by Mausolus and Artemisia, carved in white marble. Every side of the mausoleum was decorated with sculptural friezes, depicting gods, warriors, and mythical creatures. It survived for nearly 17 centuries, until a series of earthquakes between the 12th and 15th centuries CE shattered the structure. The remaining stones were later used by the Knights of St. John to build a nearby fortress, and some sculptures were taken to the British Museum, where they still remain today. Today, any grand tomb is called a mausoleum, thanks to this single structure. For our next marvel, we need to cross the Mediterranean Sea and reach the island of Rhodes, in the eastern Aegean Sea. Rhodes was a powerful maritime city-state in ancient Greece. The island lay at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, making it a hub of trade, culture, and naval strength. In 305 BCE, Rhodes successfully defended itself against a massive siege by the Macedonian general Demetrius. To celebrate this unlikely victory, the people of Rhodes decided to build a monument to their patron god, Helios, the god of the sun. Construction began around 292 BCE. It took 12 years to complete. The Colossus of Rhodes stood about 33 meters, roughly the same height as the Statue of Liberty from foot to crown. It was made of bronze plates over an iron framework and likely stood on a stone base. Contrary to popular myths, it probably did not straddle the harbor entrance. You have probably seen it here also. Its sheer scale made it one of the most impressive statues of the ancient world. But it didn't stand for long. Just 56 years after it was completed, a massive earthquake in 226 BCE brought the Colossus crashing down. The bronze pieces lay scattered on the ground for centuries. And even in ruins, they amazed travelers. Eventually, in 654 CE, invading Arab forces sold the remains as scrap metal, and the Colossus was lost to history. Though it stood for barely half a century, the Colossus of Rhodes became a timeless symbol of pride, resilience, and human ambition. For our last destination, we come back to Egypt where we started, to the legendary city of Alexandria. Founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BCE, this city became a center of learning, science, and trade. And at its edge, standing tall on the small island of Pharos, rose one of the greatest engineering feats of the ancient world, the Lighthouse of Alexandria. It wasn't just a tower, it was a beacon of civilization. Built during the reign of Ptolemy II around 280 BCE, it stood between 100 and 130 meters tall, making it one of the tallest man-made structures on Earth for centuries, second only to the Great Pyramid. The structure had 3 levels at night. A massive open flame burned at its peak, reflected by polished bronze mirrors. Some sources even say it could be seen from nearly 50 kilometers away, guiding sailors safely into the bustling harbor. Major quakes in 956, 1303, and 1323 CE gradually reduced the lighthouse to rubble. By the 14th century, it was gone. A fortress now stands where it once rose, built from some of the very same stones. In 1994, archaeologists discovered remains of the lighthouse on the seafloor near Alexandria's harbor, giant blocks and statues scattered underwater. With this, we end our journey. All the wonders, except one, are gone, but their story still echoes through every skyline we shape, every monument we build. We're on a mission to build the most powerful storytelling channel on YouTube. If you seek the minds that shaped history, the obsessions, the brilliance, the beauty, join us, subscribe, and be part of the journey.